Hello and welcome, I am the Sterling and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last few episodes we've been quite busy. Due to the lack of food we've had to expand our food production, starting with the east side, adding farmland and a fancy waterfall wall. Ooh. Then in the last couple of episodes we've got stuck into the west side. We've dug the moat down here, we've started planning out and building the lower levels of the walls and towers. We've started adding soil and backfilling, ready for the next stages. Now we must finish these walls. We need to finish digging and laying the supports for the storage layer, and then we have to top it off with soil. And finally, we need to destroy these two walls and build some form of a gantry across between the towers. And so for this episode, where on earth are we going to begin? Well, I'd really like to begin with this area here. Even though we have plenty of limestone, we've got bugger all limestone bricks. We've only got 493. So while they top up our brick supply, we'll get stuck into building the storage layer, shall we? So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. Now the good news is, I don't actually have to plan anything out. We planned it all out in the last episode. So all I have to do is hit play and let them get to work. So a negotiator has arrived. They're threatening to attack us unless we pay them off. We're not paying off anyone, especially when they're not even going to be attacking us with any trebuchets. They're just going to bring a few archers, a few marauders, nothing we can't handle. So we'll be attacked in 3 hours and 5 minutes. Hopefully everybody can get a good night's sleep before we're attacked. And here we go, we're being attacked. And as promised, no trebuchets. But there's quite a lot of archers. So this should be a good fight. It'll also give us a good opportunity to find out if I've fixed over here at the mine. What I've done is I've removed the merlons from either side and I've added an extra piece of flooring. Hopefully this fixes the issue and stops the enemy getting into this area. If not, my next solution will be adding windows either side. But I don't particularly want to go down that route if I don't have to, because then every time I mass select all the windows to close them, I'll accidentally close these windows. Then I'll have to go back, unclose them. It just becomes a pain in the butt and I really can't be bothered with it. So hopefully that's fixed the issue. So now let's wake everybody up, draft them and get ready for battle. Wow, this is a close one. Is Dick going to make it back? Nah, he's fine, but wow, he almost didn't get back from the negotiator. They really didn't give us much time. We're not even prepared. Look, they're straight to the gate. We're so close to the edge of the map. They're coming in. We're quickly moving into position. I was too busy watching Richard run in and not really concentrating. And one down. There's another one down. Whoa, we're making light work of them. Is anyone getting injured? No, we're just slaughtering them. Look at this. And the attack dogs are out. They're going to distract the enemy while we're shooting them. Whoa, we're getting a few injuries here and there, but nothing to worry about just yet. And wow, it barely even touched the sides. Wow, that was a quick fight. They're not even going to get out of the kill zone before we get them. Look, we could quickly grab a few, stick them on the front, maybe pick them off on the way out. Look at this. Come on, shoot, shoot, shoot. Let this be a lesson to you. If you come and attack Sterlington, you won't make it out alive. Look at that. I believe it's becoming a little too easy for us now with this massive big gatehouse. That made light work. I'm very happy with that. Now get back to sleep because you got lots to do in the morning. Just because you had to fight doesn't mean that you get a day off. We've got digging to do. Wow, they made light work of that, especially the majority of it being rocky soil. So now we can get on to the next stage. Whilst they've been busy digging, it's given a few settlers the opportunity to build some limestone bricks. As you can see, we're now up to 1,313, which, let's be honest, that's not enough for us to build the wall. But it might be just enough for us to continue the foundations for the storage area. But before we do that, we need to complete this wall here, as the foundations need to be anchored to this wall and this wall. So that's the next job. So now I've gone through and I'm going to allow them now to build this bottom layer. I'm still not going to let them build the top layer due to the fact that once I build this top layer, they won't be able to access the bottom layer. Though I will allow them to build the wooden floor here. Now let's come up to the overview tab. The cats have been busy breeding again. So sadly, for the sake of our frame rate, we're going to have to cull them. Hopefully the settlers like cat meat. Now let's hit play and let them get to work. Wow, we're making good time this episode, aren't we? That's now that bottom level done. They didn't waste any time, especially now we're day 2 into winter. I would prefer them not to be out here in the cold. I'd rather them be back inside the castle, manufacturing bricks, etc., just to be out of the cold. So before I go continuing any further on anything else here, I'm going to let winter pass. I'll build up my supplies, and I'll see you on the other side. There we go, we're in the first day of spring. And my word, did a lot happen through winter. At this point, with the sheer size of the castle, on top of our 22 settlers, all our domesticated animals, from our cows to our sheep to all our dogs run around hauling goods, not to mention the large abundance of resources we have stored everywhere, and not forgetting the wild animals themselves either. All these things play a factor into how well the game actually runs. And at the moment, I'm already kind of pushing it with everything going on. But then winter hits and it starts to snow. And guess what happens to the game? It runs absolutely shocking. That's an understatement. The amount of times the game froze or crashed during the first few days of winter was shocking. So to combat this, I had to drop the graphics, which at the moment I've put them back up because the game is running fine now we're back into spring. But not even dropping the graphics helped. It continued to keep crashing and I had a lot of problems. And so the only way that I found that I could fix this was once again to start culling the animals. As you see here, these 2 cats are marked for death. I'm lucky that the dogs haven't been breeding. I've still got the usual dirty odd that I've got. Other than killing off a large amount of our farm animals, there wasn't much more I could do to fix the game. Until I realised there was a hell of a lot of animals out in the wild. Lots of animals. So guess what I did for most of winter? Basically mass genocide of as many animals in the wild as I possibly could. And you know what? For safety's sake, let's have a crack at some more animals just to keep the population down. But now we're out of winter, no more snow, and so until it starts raining, I think the game's going to run just fine. Now, you've probably already noticed that the towers look a bit different. Well, that's because another thing that I took care of in winter once the game started running correctly, which was planning out this section properly. And I've come to realise a problem. Once I build this wall, there's no real way that I can actually get the settlers to be able to get up and down through these 2 towers here at the front, unless I use something such as ladders, which then it defeats the point because animals can't use ladders and the dogs are the ones that will be hauling all the resources down into the storage. So if they can't do it, the onus then falls onto our settlers, which our settlers are busy enough doing their own tasks as it is. We don't have time for them to be hauling as well. So as you see, what I've done is I've just basically gone through and stripped these 2 towers. The only way you'll be able to access them will be via the top of the wall, which that's fine. So now what I've done is I've added doors to this tower here and this tower over here. I didn't actually have to do much to this tower other than add a few stairways as it was already hollowed out. As for this tower here, I just had to dig out the bottom layer, add some stairs, and voila, we now have access down below. This tower here, nothing I can do about it because once again, this falls into the same category as these 2 front towers here. Having water running through it, there's no real way that I can get down below. And now that brings us on to spring, where we can now start planning out the supports for the storage area over here. Now, it's all pretty straightforward. I'll be designing it the same way I did this side over here. So now, before I can put in the support, we need to finish off this lower wall here. Over here, we've got the supports hard up against the external walls. Unlike the rest of the walls in the castle that go limestone block, soil, limestone block, as you can see, this wall doesn't. The main reason I decided not to put any soil in the very lower walls of this section here is because those walls are beneath the water level. Thus, I didn't think it was necessary to put soil in it, as they wouldn't be hit with trebuchets. Unfortunately, on this side here, that is not the case, as the storage level will actually be this level here, which is easily above water level, and right smack bang in line to be hit with a trebuchet. So we must do it the right way and add soil. The only level of this wall that will not have soil is in fact the water channel level, which is this one here. So nice and quickly, I'll just add soil across here, then across this side, and even over here. They'll throw that in, and then we can run some limestone block walls on the outside of it. So let's hit play and let them get to work. So from this wall here to this wall here, the gap is exactly 34. So we'll space the pillars out by 7. The pillars will be made out of limestone block walls. So we'll go 7 off this wall and then 7 off this wall. Just there. And now just moving across, every 7th spot we'll put a pillar. Fantastic. Now we can go through and add the limestone block arches. Great. We're now ready to hit play and let them get to work. Fantastic. That's now all the supports dug out and built ready for the storage to go in. Now all that's left is for me to fill in all this with soil and to add the storage pile itself. Wow, isn't that a massive storage area? Now I'll clear all, make it very high, and I'm going to store both raw materials and manufactured in this area because it's so large. Now I'm just going to come to our old dirt mine and delete the storage in here. Fantastic. Now the dogs should start hauling all this iron ingots out of here and bring them over and start putting them in our new storage area. Now in the meantime, I'm going to have them go through and fill in all the soil. Wow, that's fiddly and time consuming laying all that soil. I really wish there was an easier way I could mass select soil like that instead of having to do it row by row. Maybe there is a way and I just haven't come across it yet. Now I'll just add the outer limestone block walls and then they can get to work on it. Would you have a look at that? Wow, we've got a lot done this episode. Even the front waterfall wall is coming along nicely. Now all we have to do is build the outer walls, knock down these 2 walls either side and build a gantry, and then construct the cattle fields and whatever else we want to put in here. Unfortunately, that will all have to wait for another episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.